Welcome back to Precalculus. We are going to use that formula we just talked about in the part 1 and to solve or to find a sum like this. 12 plus 13 plus 14 all the way up to 56. So to utilize this equation we've been discussing, we need three things. We need n, we need a1, need n, a1, and an, right? So there's our a1, 12. There's our a sub n, our last term, 56. So we basically need a number of numbers. And I feel like we've talked about this a few times. I don't know if I've just mentioned it yet in any of these videos that I've actually made it to but to find the number of numbers, you can do it a couple ways. Here's the long way. You can say, okay, I know I have a term. Let's call it the nth term. And I have many other terms, but I'm going to mention the first term, 12. To get from 12 to 56, I need to add on n minus 1 d's. So again, let's let the nth term be 56, the first term be 12. And say I'm going to add on n minus 1 of d's, which d is 1. So what do I need to do? Well, first, I'm going to subtract, right? Get 44. And I'm going to do something kind of odd here. I'm not going to distribute the 1. I'm going to kind of divide by 1, which does nothing. And then I'm going to add 1. I get 45. Okay, so there's 45 terms. You don't have to show work on that. You also might just think, wait a second, can't I just do this? 50, so you can't read that really, can you? 56 minus 12 plus 1, that's the same thing. Yes, you can. Why does that work? Well, or why do you have to add 1? This reminds me of the situation where, say you want to make a little parking lot in your driveway. You have a big driveway. And you paint some lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines. How many parking spaces do you have? 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 lines, 4 parking spaces. 12 lines, 11 parking spaces. So it's 1 less. So if you want 15 parking spaces, you need 1 more line, 16 lines. Or if you're building a fence and you have some fence posts you set up, you put in 4 fence posts. Then you might go buy some prefabricated fence sections. You need 1, 2, 3 for 4 fences. Or another analogy, say your team wins the championship in 2018, in 2019, in 2020, and in 2021. You might think, oh yeah, we won from 2018 to 2021 every year. Many people would say, oh, you must have won 3 straight years. But look, 1, 2, 3, 4. We won 4 straight years because you subtract and add 1. So that's kind of a tricky thing. If you want, you can always do the navigator formula. It will get it right every time. Okay, now that we have that, if I can erase this quickly. All right, that works. Let's go back here and plug in. So the sum of these 45 terms would be 45 over 2. First term was 12, last term was 56. And I already did this, and I got 1530. So the sum of those 45 terms would be 1,530. Let's try another. What if we had this? 7, 10, 13, 16, all the way up to 91. Well, again, it's easy to locate our first term and our last term. So when we go to this, we know what A1 is, we know what AN is, but what is N? Again, it's a bit of a challenge. Can you just subtract them and add 1 this time? No, because it's not every term, it's every third, right? The D is 3 on this one. Let's go to the navigator formula. It's a navigator formula. We need you here. I want to get from the first to the nth term. So I need to add on n minus 1 d's. D is 3. So I can say I want to get from 7 to 91, I need to add on n-1 threes. So look what I do. I subtract first. You might be thinking, that's what I was going to do. I was going to subtract. Yeah, that's right. Subtract, get that span. Then look, divide by 3. Were you thinking of that, dividing by 3? Because it's just every third, and then finally you add 1, and the number of terms is 29. So wrapping this one up, sum of these 29 terms is 29 over 2 times 7 plus 91, and that gets us 1,421. Okay, two more problems. Next up. Now we're going to add this. We're going to do the sum of first 200 terms of this series. 3 plus 12 plus 21 plus 30, and it goes on and on and on. So think through, what do we need? We need the first term. Oops. We need the last term. So we know the first term is 3. What's the number of terms? They said 200 terms, so 200. All we need now is the nth term. What is the 200th term of the sequence? Well, guess what? Navigator formula has got us covered. It says you want the 200th term. You know the first. I could put in A2. I could put in A3. I could put in A4. I know all those, but I'm just going to go with A1. Then you need to add on 199, 200 minus 1, D's. So to get from 3, I need to add on D, which is what? D is 9, right? I need to add on 199 nines. And I did this previously and got 1794. So now I'm ready to plug that in here. And in the end, I get the sum of these 200 terms. Actually, we could do this in our head, can't we? 100 times 1797. That's just 1797 with a couple zeros. 179,700. And finally, our last example for 9-2 is a summation problem. And I made it a little bit interesting. Not starting at 0 or 1. That's kind of boring. So we're starting at 33. Well, what I recommend you do on these is always write out the first few terms. So let's see. The first term would be 5 times 33. Put a plus sign. 5 times the next number, which is 34. Put a plus sign. 5 times the next number, which is 35. Put a plus sign. That's getting old. Let's just do ... The last one's 5 times 68. Simplify these. This is 165. This is 170. I don't care what that is. And the last one is 340. So back to our formula. It says the sum of n terms is n over 2, first plus last term. Well, we know first term, check. We know last term, check, right? They are 165 and 340. All we really need, is the number of terms. Well, you started with a 33 being plugged in, then a 68. So really, I'm plugging in 33, then I'm plugging in 34, then I'm plugging in 35, all the way up to 68. So this is like an arithmetic sequence itself. How many numbers are there? It is the first minus the last plus 1. So the difference is D, and that is 36. So we take that, put it here. So this is 18 times